Hello, welcome back to our Tektopia survival series. So we're back in our western town today. Since the last episode was the 10th episode, I think, I'm pretty sure, we're going to do a little update on the village, or a little walkthrough. We'll go over everything we've accomplished, just for anyone who's new or hasn't seen all of the episodes, just a little recap of everything we've done in the village so far. So we'll show all the buildings off, we'll show some of the villagers, we'll show the design, and then we'll lay out the plans for upcoming projects and what's going to happen. There will be a couple of things that we're going to show, or at least one thing we're going to show that wasn't filmed at all, but we'll get to that in just a second. I guess as you can see, I did clear out a mob spawner. So let's eat, and then let's start the tour. Okay, so welcome to our Western video for those of you who haven't watched. So the first building we threw in our village, and I guess as a point, we're still looking for a name to the village. I have started to get some submissions. I was going to give it a little more time before we came up with something. So if you guys have a name, do let me know. We're looking for something a little Western. So something you might find in the Wild West, or like a frontier town. So the first village we put in was this little sheriff's town, sheriff's hall, county hall. So I guess our deputy sheriffs, our first deputy sheriffs, were the architect and the tradesman. They have a nice little desk where they can sit down. So the chairs are the only objects that these two can interact with. They don't interact with beds. They don't interact with workstations. They don't really get to do a lot. I do have a chest here of stuff that I've bought so far. Ooh, it's raining away. So we have a whole bunch of hearts because the villagers seem to be pretty happy. We have some tokens we're looking to give out. Actually, hopefully today we'll have a couple nomads that will be able to give out one lumberjack, one farmer token too. So on the second floor of our sheriff's department, we do have a little jail cell. We did at one point actually trap a skeleton up here. We even gave him a name tag, but he is despawned, which I didn't think was possible. We do have the bunk beds here for the inmates. But yeah, our one prisoner has managed to escape, so I don't know if we'll need to track him down or how he got out. I thought if you gave him a name tag, he wouldn't despawn. But I don't know. I guess he was a pretty resourceful skeleton. But yeah, that was the first building in our village, and I think it came out pretty nicely. I'm actually really happy with all of the builds. I guess all of them except for one. One of them does need work, and I'm looking for ideas on how to fix it. But we'll get to that one when we get to it. The second building was our storage room, which I'm super happy with the way this thing turned out. So this building pretty much set the theme for all of our builds in the village. I think when I did the first one, I was like, oh, maybe the oak and the birch would go really well. And it's not bad. But when I did this oak and spruce, I just love how this looks. I think this is exactly the type of building or the color you would see in like a western town. So we have the storage room, got a whole bunch of room for the villagers. So we actually do have a couple trades we'd be able to make if we see the merchant around today. So the villagers, they do need at least one crafting bench in here. I just threw in a second one just for symmetry. So in my mind, this would just be like a little storeroom or a village communal storage center. Where they could just drop whatever they need, or trade even, so they could leave stuff here. This area right here, which I still need to throw a chair in, would be the storeroom manager, and he or she would just supervise everything that was going on here, make sure no one is taking more than their share. And then up here, it was a dead space for a little while, but then I was like, you know what, I need an enchanting room, so I tossed my enchanting table up here. I am using a bunch of mods. So the bookshelves are actually from Cork. I think this is actually my first attempt at using one of the other mods. So nothing special, but I don't know. It was kind of cool being able to use it for the first time. So after the storeroom, we built our first house. So I'll go show you the general design for our houses, which leads me to my first. Oh, is that oldest? Nope, Fenton Bookworm. Actually, I think you were attacked last night. Yeah, you were. One of the things I really need to do in this village is head down to the Nether. Another one of the mods we have is the invisible lights. So rather than having to torch spam this entire thing, you can just use a little wand type thing and drop lights everywhere. So super nice. But yeah, so I don't know what that sound is. But one of the buildings we had thrown in, or after the storeroom, we threw in our first house, and I really like the way these houses are looking. Like they're nothing too complex. They'd be like early homesteader type housing, and yeah, they just came together really well. So nothing too special. All the villagers need, basically all they need is a bed. If you throw in chairs for them, they sit down and they'll gain happiness before they go to bed, and I think in the morning. I also have I also have the chest for them to put their stuff in, which they don't, of course, and a crafting bench. But just a little design. I try to vary all of the houses just a little bit, so it looks pretty neat. So I built a whole bunch of houses. I think I have 4 or 5 of the same similar designs. The one which started off really well, I do like this idea. So it's basically like a little apartment type thing. You walk in this general area, and then you come into your specific house. I do like the way it looks. I've started incorporating flower pots. I still need to find flowers though. Um, the one thing I don't like is that, like on the smaller houses, I think it looks really cool, but it just did not turn out for this large duplex, I guess, communal living area. So I need to fix that, and I don't know what I'm going to do to fix that. Um, so looking for ideas on how to fix that. But once I got in the houses, obviously with this Tektopia, in order to progress, you need emeralds to buy better houses or more houses. So the easiest professions to start are the forest and the farm. Fenton, I don't. Oh, there's Aldous. So Aldous Morning is my official deputy sheriff. He's my second in command. So we built the forest first. I think we built it before our farming area. We have 8 of all of the trees, or there's 4 trees that the villagers can harvest. They can do oak, birch, spruce, and jungle. So we had to go out, search a little while for the jungle. But otherwise, we have all 4 of the trees in here, and it's getting close to bedtime, so I'm going to go to bed before the mobs spawn, but I'll see you in the morning back at the forest area, okay? Okay, good morning. So we're back in our little forest area. So as I mentioned, we do have all the trees over here, and I guess I'm going to have to put a path here, because it seems most of the time when the villagers come to my village, like the nomads and the merchant, thank you very much for proving my point, they come from this corner of the village. I don't fully know how the merchant decides which corner to spawn from, but... Ooh, white wool. Okay, cool. So, also, I just learned how these trades work. So, the trades keep track of the last 30 trades with the merchants. So, the most often trades I do are the oak and some of the vegetables or the crops. So the potato is lower, the oak is a lot lower because I trade that a lot. Jungle wood, I guess I trade a lot too, and birch. So you need to cycle through them in order to get them replenished. So I'll need to start, I guess I'll need to get need to put the little tags, the little tokens on the wall for the animals, so I can start collecting those to cycle through trades in order to get the more valuable trades. So like the trade value goes down over time. Are you Fenton again, or are you Aldous? Aldous Morning. Hello, Aldous. So he's my official deputy. I think he was like my second villager or third villager, and I really like his name. Okay, so after we built the forest, we went over and we built the farming area, which has grown a lot since we first started it. But we also do need to get more farming villages because it's usually at like at least 50% capacity, probably closer to 75. So there's room for a lot more, or at least a couple more farming villages, because we're not at capacity. Okay. So after we built that, we went on, and our next build we wanted to get was the mine shaft, which is probably one of my favorite designs. Like, it's probably the simplest, but it just looks so good. So I got a whole bunch of the ores and sprinkled them all over here, dropped down a chest, which would symbolize like emergency pickaxes, or in this case just fences and rails I hadn't used, but this would be like emergency supplies for the mine, so whether it was dynamite... Oh, hello villager. I built you a nice staircase, but okay. So we need a new pickaxe soon. And then, yeah, just a little chest on rails for them so they can transport stuff up and down easier, which of course they can't, but that's the idea behind it. Okay, so I also sprinkled in a bunch of ores in the walls just for a mine look. I will come back at some point in a later episode and fix the rest of the walls, but I think the one thing I did off camera was just put the ores into the walls. I guess maybe a waste of profit, but I think it just looks really cool. So down here I have this, which would stop the minecart, and then looks like there's a villager heading down her tunnel. So these mine shafts, you just put them on a 1 deep, like here. So a 1 deep by 2 high thing, and then the villagers will just go all the way to the village border. They'll keep mining anything they find on any of the 6 blocks. So I think it's below, or the 2 in front of them, the sides, the top, and the bottom. They'll mine out, replace with like a cobblestone. So like this, I guess they must have found something there. And although I don't know why they didn't take those. So they'll just take that and they will bring it back up. I think they also have a percentage chance to find like another ore. So even if they're mining stone, they might find like a diamond, or might find redstone or coal. Which is just a neat mechanic, because otherwise they're not really fast, and they only mine like a handful of blocks before they have to like run up anyways to return it. Yeah, I don't know. I literally built stairs for you guys. Didn't have to waste all that time making the cobble stairs if you didn't use them. So after we built that, I think actually in the same episode we built a blacksmith, which I don't have the blacksmith yet. Working on getting enough of the supplies, so enough of the iron. Plus the blacksmith is a little expensive. So this should be large enough, if my math is correct, for 4 blacksmiths. I think I still need 2 more crafting benches. But at the very least, I'll be able to put 2 blacksmiths in here. I was going back and forth deciding if I liked the sand. I think a couple of you guys had mentioned that keep the sand. Still wrestling with the idea. Like, I don't know if it really fits the theme. Like, I like it by the door, so because it's an open concept, so it can blow in. But I don't know if I like it all the way back here. If I want to replace it with like cobblestone or stone bricks, just to make it more of a blacksmith feel. But otherwise, I'm happy with the way this turned out. So the more furnaces you have, the quicker the blacksmiths will work. They'll just drop coal and whatever ore is into it. And then I have some armor stands for... Eventually, when I have resources to waste, I'll start dropping armor on there. Actually, I just retired my first set of iron armor, so I could probably retire that to the shelves. Okay, so once I finished that, I think I went on to my first just for happiness build for the village. So I built the saloon, which turned out really well. I'm really happy with the way. Like, they don't have swinging doors, so I just left this open, but it looks really good. I did make it pretty big, so there will be a bunch of villagers able to stay in here. I bought the jukebox. Yeah, note block. Sorry, I bought the note block so that eventually, when I do get the bard can come in here and provide entertainment for the villagers, increasing their happiness more. I will use rustic, which is one of the mobs I have in this pack, which has like oak barrels. So it's just like a circle block that looks like a barrel that you're able to drop, or that I will drop up here. So it just looks like casks, just for, I don't know, rum and beer storage for the village. One of the other things I did put in here, which was which did work, which I'm really happy of. There's this little thing here which would symbolize, I don't know, the store would be like an extra storeroom, or probably didn't have indoor washrooms back then, but probably just a storeroom. But what I'm using it for is to actually symbolize that this is the active building. So this needs to be beside a door. It can't just be by an opening. So just making the game work for us. Also, this was like my first attempt on Java of ever making these letter signs, the banners. Used a whole bunch of resources, but turned out really well. So I'm super happy. It is nice. Ooh, looks like the villagers are happy. So I managed to get that. There are some people online who have like a step-by-step about which line and what pattern it needs to be for that. So that was super helpful. So one of the mechanics in the village, if your villagers are happy, they will have little babies, and they'll drop hearts, which you can drop onto empty beds. Or I think you can drop them onto any bed. So after I built the saloon, I didn't even... my first build in this village, which actually doesn't have practical value for the village, or at least functional value for the mod pack, which would be super important in the Wild West, was a water tower. So I threw that in there, and just looks really cool, especially from the ground. I'm just really happy with it. There is actually water in there. So hypothetically, if the villagers ever needed water, they could somehow go up there and grab it. Also, it is a little dangerous because there's no lighting up there. So a couple times I've just had a whole bunch of mobs spawn, including creepers up there. So need to be a little careful when I go up to check on them. Looks like it's almost night, but we probably have enough time to check the library before bedtime. So the library is, for anyone who wants to start this pack, the library is probably one of the buildings you should think about building really soon. So villagers can spend their evenings or spend half a day in here just reading these books, getting smarter. And they hire the intelligence of the villager, the quicker they do their tasks. So I do have an enchanting table, or a second enchanting table in here. This is for the purpose of the enchanter. So that's another role the villagers can have. And the enchanter obviously just enchants stuff, tools for the villagers to use. So whether it's armor for the guards, or whether it's tools for any of the workers, the enchanter will do that so the villagers can work more effectively. And that, combined with increasing the intelligence, just makes the villagers more efficient. Okay, I'll head off to bed, just because I don't want to do the tour at night, because then I'll be running back and forth defending the villagers. And as soon as I guess, come first thing in the morning, I'll drop off the heart, and I'll see you guys back here. Oh, no. Welcome back. I should not have been holding the heart when I tried to go to bed. So apparently, any bed you press the heart on, the villagers will spawn. So our village has our first village baby. So Arila Star, welcome. You are the first child of the village. So they can actually do. I guess that was cool. I did that on camera for you guys, or have a new child on camera for you guys. So they have two things. They can either attend school or play tag. So I guess she'll hop around. I actually do have a teacher, so she will be able to go to school as well. Maybe I should have let this game run during the day. I think I placed the school token, otherwise we can place it right now. Yeah. So at some point, the teacher will be in the school, and Arila will head off to school. So, well, I guess let's show the school now. And then we'll move to the corner of my village, and then we only have a couple builds left to go over. So, the school, another one of the buildings that just turned out really nicely. Was looking at designs of a whole bunch of like the old-fashioned schools, the one-room schoolhouses from years and years ago. A lot of them do have this little bell tower on top, so managed to waste a bunch of gold to get the gold block. No, not waste. I invested in the appearance. So I have the school. I started, I think it was at the library. Maybe not. I don't know when I started using this. But in one of the mods, I'm guessing Rustic, they have these lanterns. So the precursor to the new 1.15 or 1.14 lanterns. They have these lanterns. So all you need is like 2 iron and 1 coal or charcoal in the center, and you get 4 lanterns. So it's not too expensive. But yeah, so I started dropping them around here. Just a nice little source of light. And in the school, really looks really cool. So I do have a bunch of desks. Basically, all the villagers need in here is the chairs, and then they'll learn. I am using these tables from one of the mods, and then just drop paper to symbolize their homework or whatever they're working on for the day. And then I guess one of the students was so happy, left an apple for the teacher. So, but yeah, just turned out really cool. I think there's a bunch of above the roof here. There's just a bunch of dead space which I lit up. I might throw something in there just for me. So below the bell tower there, might throw something in there, whether it's my storage area. I'm still looking for a place for my storage. So whether I throw something of mine up there or find something else to throw up there. Okay, so actually, since we're here, we can show you that. The place I've been staying is this little hole in the wall. A bunch of my storage just like sprawling out here, and then my tunnel down to my mines. So I could wait, I guess, for the villagers to get a whole bunch of resources and then just take the resources from them. But it's easier just to get my own resources, and then I don't waste any of their stuff. So anything that has like a green writing is stuff they did. Anything that's just the white is stuff that we did. So they ran out of tools. So I will need to go do that. Some more diamonds apparently. Oh, 1 diamond. Nice. That's awesome. So I think it was when we were building the school, or maybe building the library, that all this morning our deputy sheriff came up to us. Oh, I heard a weird noise over there. So we went to investigate it. So we have a couple builds over here. And when I came around, I think it came around the next corner, I saw a DeLorean, so I built it just outside the city border, just so that there was no problem with villagers confusing this block or walking into the fire. So I built the DeLorean. I think it's a pretty good recreation of it. Just because this is the Wild West, and technically Marty and Doc came to visit the Wild West. So as soon as I kind of really want to find a villager with the last name Brown, and then I'll definitely name him, or definitely convert him to become the blacksmith. I think that would be most enjoyable. But yeah, so this is a specific factory block in one of the mods. You can just use chisel on it and convert it to that. I think if you use your imagination a little bit, it looks like the flux capacitor. And then, yeah, just have that on like the netherrack. So that came together pretty well. And since we're over here, we do have our little chicken farm for our food purposes. I guess it is far enough away, it does work slowly. Only when I'm at like the edge of town, it's active, I guess. But I'm okay with that. We'll be able to drop this food into the chest for villager farming, or for the villagers, and they'll be able to eat it for more variety. I guess if they eat the same foods all the time, just the carrots or apples, they start to get upset, or their happiness decreases. And I think the last episode, I just built my nether portal. Or I just spruced up my nether portal. I've had it for a little while, but I used a whole bunch of red sandstone. Did the... this is a block in the normal mob, or in the normal texture pack, normal pack. So it just has the wither, which looks really cool. I think it just looks awesome. So, got my little nether portal. I don't want them walking into that for sure. But yeah, so this area is done. This is mostly non-village builds over here. And then I think we're down to the last couple builds in our village. So I guess I'll save the one thing I worked on for last. But yeah, so I will need to get a blacksmith. Just hoping a villager named Emmett Brown comes to visit. Not holding my breath. I'll settle for anyone with the last name Brown. So one of the builds that I did, not sure what you're doing. But one of the builds I did was this little trading cart. So if you have the merchant token, you can drop it on any building and they'll keep the merchant in the same area. So he'll come over here and I don't need to chase my merchant around, which as the villager got bigger, it became a lot harder to find him easily. So he'll just be standing here and I can come trade with him. I really like this build. So it basically has everything a traveling merchant could need, just like his books or his tradable material, a chest for all of his personal belongings, a little crafting bench if he needs to make anything on the road, and his little bed, which used to be white, but he's traveled so much it's now a dirty brown. And then I had to go out and find a couple mules that I brought back, but they're now part of the village. And then just here, would have been nicer if I'd made it. And just a place for him to sit, and he can sit and move out of town when he wants. I hope he doesn't, though. He's pretty good for the village economy. Okay, and then the last episode, we started a couple projects. Actually, a couple episodes ago, we put some more housing over here. And then I guess we do have the farms that are just waiting for the ranching tokens, which will eventually move in here. So a couple episodes ago, we had built this little bridge over here. And we had built a couple more houses, which I guess our new child to the village lives over here now. I don't know how these beds work. They seem to be switching beds all the time. Oh no! Get out of here, villager! Don't suffocate. Yeah, okay, I'll need to fix that, I guess. I did not realize that might have been a problem. Okay, well, let's fix that now. Okay. Done. Damn. Perfect. Yeah, I'll need to come back and fix the other side as well at some point. But yeah, so built these tents. They're actually among like the biggest builds I have, so I was really happy with that. Looks like the little kids come into her house. Yeah, they're among the biggest houses I have. I didn't realize that when I first built it. So I don't know where the teacher went. Is he trying to go across the water? I hope not. I can't imagine he'll make it. And then the last big building we built in the village, or the last episode, we started the railroad tracks. So eventually I want these tracks to go through the mountain, and I'll put a train over here. This will just be like the arrival station that the villagers, or any new villagers to my town, can come. And I guess this was a very, very effective way of travel back in the day. So I think it came up pretty well. I will add some additional blocks, like this is mostly just cobble and stone brick, but I think it's okay. Okay, and I'll be back with you guys in the morning, okay? Hello. Okay, our last build that we want to show you is right below, or I guess it's probably right below the mine, or right below the blacksmith. So we did discover a mob spawner when we were on our way back from something. So there you go. So I think I need to be along this wall here for it to work. So when I first discovered it, I was like, oh, a skeleton spawner. I think it was a skeleton spawner. And then when I was digging it out, I was like, oh, cool. So it is now a skeleton and zombie spawner. So it's actually a double spawner from this wall. I think if I'm like a further over, it's only activates the skeleton spawner because the zombie is a little bit that way. But yeah, so I did build the little farm. I have a little trap unit down there so the baby zombies can't come through. But now I can come down here and kill the zombies. I don't come down here a lot because it is a little dangerous for the villagers up there if I'm here during the night until I light everything up. Especially because I have a couple of houses that are open concept and the saloon doesn't have any doors. Also, I will need to build like a hopper system to put their loot into chests because as of now I can't reach it. Can't reach most of it, I guess. But it's a good place for XP. So I did just do a whole bunch of enchanting in my last... Oh, sorry. It's also probably going to get pretty loud. So I'll head out here. But yeah. So I'm super happy with that. So that's probably all for our little tour. Actually, it might be nighttime right now. Yeah. Okay. I will be back come daytime. Okay. Well, no mobs have spawned just yet up here, or no mobs have attacked anyone. So just going to take a little look at my saloon here. So the villagers sit and talk and hang out, and if I'm lucky, they will even cheers me. Oh, there you go. Cheers to you. Yeah, so they just sort of hang out. Okay, but now I'm going to head out before the mob spawn. So I'll see you guys in the morning. What a nice little morning sunrise that is. I do enjoy the sun coming over the little mesa, or the little... I don't know what those are. Little pillars of terracotta. Just a nice little morning. So, the last thing we want to do... I want to get the rancher, or the... Not the rancher, but these. Oh my goodness, those are so much more expensive than I thought. Okay, sheep. I'm pretty sure I don't have enough for the cow. Not even close. I did not realize those were so expensive. Okay. Well, let's get on with this. Unfortunately, I don't think in the 3 days or the 4 days it took me to do this tour, we saw a nomad, so I won't be able to add one more farmer to the village. So I'll probably just do that off-screen rather than keep waiting to do it on-screen. Okay, so I do have a couple ranchers, so because they have nothing to do yet, I will... There you go. Now they can start converting these to village animals and can start returning wandering sheep to the pens. So, yeah, I can't believe that was so expensive. Oh, you need shears. Okay, I don't know if I can make them, if they'll use ones I make, or if they need the blacksmith. But whatever, they'll be able to feed the animals, and they'll be able to bring wandering animals back. So there's a merchant, but it doesn't look like any nomads. No luck. Okay, well that's no problem. I think this was a pretty big episode. We'll try to do these little showcases maybe a little more often. I kind of want them just to be like little 15-minute showcases of the village, but we just did a lot with this being like the first village on the map. So I'm super happy with that. Also, for those of you who didn't notice, I did specifically change my skin. I kept my face, I gave him a little western look. So I am the sheriff, chief architect of the town, so I thought I should look the part. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. For who hasn't watched the episode before, or my Tektopia series before, I hope you guys liked it. I hope you understand where I'm going, or you think the buildings fit. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Otherwise, if you like the video, definitely leave a like, and consider subscribing to the channel. It sure helps me out. It helps me grow the channel, and it's a nice feeling. It lets me know you guys actually enjoy what I'm making. So I will see you guys for our next episode. In the next episode, we're going to be making an inn. So we'll have a couple of bigger rooms, and it'll be more concentrated. So we'll right in my shot. I hope you're happy. If that's Cecile McDonald, that'd be really cool. It is Cecile McDonald. So what a good way to end. She was my first villager in my village here. So I think that's a pretty good place to end. And I guess we'll talk about the bank in the next little episode, which is just a really cool build we had. Again, not a functional build for the village, but a neat build by itself. So we'll talk about that one later. Perfect. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you have yourselves a great day, okay? Take care.